Alright folks, welcome to another raid video, and we're doing Platinum Push again, so we're just going to jump straight in at the last 25 minutes of Platinum Push. I figured there's not much point in doing these intros for these videos every single week with the camera on and stuff, so we'll just jump straight into the Platinum Pushes. So this week I was trying out Gurp Tuck a little bit more just to get around Swift Parry. I used to use them all the time for Swift Parry teams, but I re-geared my Madame and then just never bothered gearing up Gurp Tuck again. So I've stuck some not such great gear on him, to be honest. It's kind of average gear, but I managed to get about 650 accuracy. So I figured if he works this week, next week I'll really try and build him pretty well and see how he goes. But so far seems to be doing pretty good for me. The other good thing about Gurp Tuck is you are sacrificing the Madame strip, so you're not getting defense down. But what you do get is the poison damage. So you get like an extra, I think it's 7.5% damage increase for each poison on yourselves. And then there's a mastery as well, which lets you stack damage. There we go, boom, easy. Lets you stack damage for the poisons, or debuffs that are on you, I should say. So you can kind of double down on that one. So you're not going to do quite as much damage as defense down, but you're still going to do a decent amount of damage increase to kill them off. So here we go, they had immunity on, but that's fine. Block buffs doesn't go on Siffy. And I actually wasn't able to kill the Duchess, which is a shame. That just shows you if I had defense down there, that would have been easy, but chances are she probably had Swift Parry anyway. There we go, defense down landed there, block buffs landed there, and it was easy, no Swift Parries to annoy me. Gurp Tuck's one of the best, if not the best, for doing the block buffs. I did experiment with Ugo for quite a while, so if any of you guys have Ugo, he's actually a really solid arena champion. So he does the same thing, he blocks buffs, but he also puts the defense down, which is actually a much better ability. The only problem is it's an attack, so it can hit a weak hit, and I think Ugo is a magic affinity champion. So he's going to be hitting weak hits, obviously, against your force champions, so not ideal in that respect. So that is why Gurp Tuck is the better choice, I believe, just because he places that block buffs. There we go, block buffs on everyone. Blow them all up. Did very little damage to the Duchess there. I think she was getting protected by Necrit, but the good thing about Kaimar, it reset, and then unfortunately that happened. So again, this is just kind of a trial this week. I was trying out a bit of Gurp Tuck, see what like. The other great thing about block buffs is that happens too. You can't put up perfect veils and all the heals and things like that. So, and if you can take a turn before a Siffy and then she tries to play with block buffs up, it's not ideal for her. This guy's Mountain King is making my life very difficult. But we're still 24 minutes, I think, out, so we're not too bad. You can, if I was later in the push, this was like 5 minutes to go, I probably would have just quit and just tried to get a quicker fight. This is the only issue with using AoE champions against Necrit, is the fact that you really need to kill him first, especially when they've got a pesky Mountain King doing this all the time to my nuker. Trunda is the better champion. Well, she's just the best attack nuker in the game, but she is much better in the fact that she could A2 the Necrit, kill him, then do damage to everyone else, and then start cleaning up. But while he's alive, it's pretty difficult to kill people. The block buffs is actually working quite well against Necrit, though it's stopping him doing anything too crazy. And there we go. So we're nearly 2 minutes for this fight, that's very poor. But because we're so far out, it's not too much of an issue. So 22 minutes to go. As you see guys, the Shamal team now, I realised I've been making a massive mistake here. So if any of you guys have been watching these Platinum Push videos for the last while, this is my kind of go-to team for these type of compositions. But if you have noticed, occasionally I struggle to kill someone, and it's usually if it's like insanely tanky, like our Saga with like shield set, strengthen on, like every single buff possible to stop them dying. So I just assumed, right, those things are impossible to kill, so it's really tough to kill them. So yeah, just assuming they are really really tough to kill, I just thought that was the way of it. But it turns out one of my Shamals wasn't even booked up. I don't know how it happened. I mean, I've got loads of epic books. There we go. Went straight in against Warlord. Wasn't looking at the team, and that was a bad idea. So just leave that one. Yeah. So it turns out I'm playing this entire reset and every reset subsequently with a completely unbooked Shamal, which is massively losing damage. So whenever I wasn't killing someone with Shamal, it was only because I hadn't booked him, and I have no idea how that happened. I'm usually pretty good at doing that kind of stuff. I just didn't even notice. He's got good stats, everything else. We still kill him pretty much everything. So now that I've realised that after this reset, every reset from now on, I will have a fully booked Shamal. Well, one of them was fully booked. One of them had no books at all. So it should be much easier to kill everything in one shot apart from Swift Parry going forward, which is going to be quite interesting. So I'm excited to see how I do next week with a team that should be 50% better in terms of damage. So again, that's one of these Warlord teams that could easily catch me out. I think I'm faster than this guy, obviously, because he's got just the 19% speed lead. The Siffi's pretty damn fast though, so I was completely wrong. I'm sure I faced that guy before and I was faster than that team, but must have made a mistake there, unless he's got some more speed glyphs or something. There we go, just about got hit with the same problem again. Goddamn Warlord, he's such a pain. I might start bringing my high resistance Kymar back at some point, just to fight these Warlord teams. Now, Necrit's ability there on the Duchess. As much as this is kind of annoying, what he's doing here, I still don't really see much point in what he's doing, because putting the Necrit's ability on the Duchess, he's got no real damage output there, so you're just going to reset and kill him at some point. And it didn't take too long, really. I always feel in your defense you should have at least one way of actually killing the other team. Because most of the time when I see a team with no damage output whatsoever, it's usually a fairly easy farm, to be honest. There we go, nice and easy. So we're 18 minutes out now. I'm actually in gold 4. I think it was pretty competitive this week because I was winning and my defense was doing good, but I kept getting pushed out of platinum back into gold 4. I actually started at a reasonable time this week as well, so it wasn't like the other week. I think I started playing an hour beforehand. I never play super fast for like an hour beforehand, but I try and keep myself in platinum. But I was in platinum for ages, at a good spot. I think it was like top 50, and then suddenly, whoosh, out of nowhere, dropped right back to gold 4. But I get some nice quick wins here, boosting me back up. I did finally, absolutely fine. This is the first speed upgrade I've had to my Arbiter for like probably 5 months, 5-6 months. So I finally got a triple speed roll on a weapon, but I don't have any glyphs yet, so I'm not using it. But should be able to get another 4 or 5 speed. No, is it? Yeah, another 4 speed out of my Arbiter pretty soon, which is going to take me up to about 370, which I'm pretty happy about. And if and when I ever pull a Siffi, I should have a really fast Siffi at that point too, which will be really good. One thing I have noticed is a lot of these defenses, they seem to be resistance tuning quite a lot with their Valkyries, because I've been caught out a few times, especially because I threw my Gurp Tuck together fairly quickly. I didn't actually gear him all that well. I haven't really concentrated on his accuracy or his resistance, sorry, rather than his accuracy. Now here I should just leave because this is pretty much a game over, I think. Yep, I do. But yeah, just for people that don't know about resistance tuning, it's not widely known yet, but the deal with that is you're trying to use Valkyrie's passive. Most people used to always just make Valkyrie with loads of accuracy and it would reduce everyone's turn meter when they put buffs on. But if you tune it, you can try and get it to the point where it could actually reduce the turn meter of specific champions and leave other ones, so you can actually throw people's compositions off. You know, ideally, if you could get their nuker to go before their debuffer, that's like the goal. Or if you can just reduce their nuker loads and leave everyone else. But yeah, I mean that's the real goal. So try and get the nuker to go before the buff strip, like a Madame. That would be brilliant because then they're probably going to be plowing the AOE straight into like shields or defense up or whatever. So it's quite a sneaky tactic, and I noticed Gartok got caught out a few times because I hadn't actually looked at his resistance at all. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but there was a couple of times I fought Valkyries, and both my Arbiter and Kaimar were fine, and my Nuker was fine, but then my Gartok got turn meter reduced, which meant he went after my Nuker, which wasn't ideal because the block buffs wasn't up and the damage increase wasn't up. But yeah, resistance tuning is more of a kind of top end platinum strategy. The problem is it's only, I think, really a couple of clans that are probably concentrating on using it, and they all know what they're doing, and they all have great gear to do it. So I wouldn't worry too much about doing that at sort of gold 4 sort of standards. Right. A lot of Lydias this week. Lydia is really coming into the meta a lot more, I think, just now. If you are facing a Hegemon team with Lydia, you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be a nuke Hegi because it's such a strong combo that nuking them down and then they can't revive anyone because of Lydia. One shot and Tormund, as per usual. I don't feel Tormund's that much use just now. I've been experimenting with Tormund quite a lot, and to be honest, the best possible form of Tormund for me was like a nuke Tormund, a damage dealer. So because he's pretty easy to deal with. It doesn't add too much time really having to kill him twice. So here we go again. This is, if I go against that team, not I've learned my team isn't fast enough to deal with these Sifis going straight into a crazy high speed, high accuracy Warlord. And Necrit. Necrit's probably one of the best, if not the best, champion just now in Arena. He's just so good. He gives you a lot of options for doing things you couldn't do before. For instance, taking away immunity nukers so you can really get savage gear back on your nukers. Providing shields for the whole team with shield set, just really good. So there we go. That actually that last Inquisitor that hit there didn't have any books, and he still shot through and kills people in one shot. So that shows you how much damage this guy can actually do. That's the one with books. That's the one without books, and just one shot at a Mountain King in the first 2 hits. So yeah, he's got to be the highest hitting single target champion in the game, surely. Granted, you have to set him up. But off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone else really that can do it. I mean, Retraxa is a legendary, and I've built her so many ways, you know, with the Savage set, Cruel set, because she's ignoring 50% of damage on her A1, and I just cannot get her to hit nearly as hard as Inquisitor does. Faceless hits extremely hard as well. And he actually just straight up ignores shields and stuff, but the amazing thing about Inquisitor is he'll just take the shield off. He's not ignoring it. He just takes it off and still kills them. Especially if you have the shield breaker passive on too, then it just gets a bit nuts. Right, a Godseeker team here. Iffy lead. So a fair bit of resistance, but nothing too crazy. The funny thing that Yoshi's done, I've noticed this week, is a lot of the really high resistant teams don't seem to be kicking about. Oh, Swift Parry as well on her is a little bit annoying. Yeah, so none of the crazy high resistance, like, 450 plus. I mean, there's a few, but there's nowhere near as many as there used to be. So it's almost just the threat of having Yoshi there. It's gotten rid of a lot of those teams. Plus, the resistance metas was kind of falling away. Now, having a bit of a hard time here. I think I've made a few mistakes. Wasn't actually concentrating on the video there, but this is taking way longer than it should have. Just desperately trying to get rid of this Siffy and going about it all the wrong way. What I'm trying to do is use A1s, but also I want to try and save the A2s for when they get revived, and then I can just blast them out when they get revived. Right, that's my A2s come back round. She's been revived. Unfortunately got the... Krisk is a bit of a nightmare with this team because the decreased attack really affects you. So now I'm kind of on a cooldown just to wait till I get back. And also provoke. The other great thing about Krisk, actually, just in case you guys don't know about this, is depending on where you place him in your team lineup, he's excellent against nukers. Things like nuke hegemons. I can't remember if I win this fight. It's not going very well, is it? I'm going to lose my Duchess by the looks of it. Yep. Yeah, I think this is a loss, guys. 2 minutes in and a loss. That's really bad, actually. Yep. That is not what you want when you are 8 minutes out. Yep, that's not good at all. And we're in gold for 8 minutes out. It's not looking too good this week. But yeah, sorry, I was talking about Krisk. So depending on where you place him in your lineup, he's actually really good against nukers and especially nuke hegemons. Because if you stick your lead in, speed or whatever you're doing, and then stick Krisk next in your team, similar how you would do the ally attack champion in a blender composition, if he has enough accuracy, he'll take damage from the hegemon or whatever the nuker is, and then the decreased attack will go on, and then the next two hits against the weaker champions in your team will have decreased attack on them. So you can really mitigate the damage that goes through, which is pretty nuts. Reset. Hopefully we get there in time before she starts reviving. There we go. With the double turn meter boost, it's pretty easy. Back in platinum. So it was only briefly out of platinum there. But we surely can't be very high. This does this quite a lot. It looks like you're in gold 4, but you're actually back in platinum. This looks like a Swift Parry team, so went for the block buffs, and that worked out beautifully. That's exactly why you want Garptuk in your team. Again, another Siffy and Warlord. Extremely fast, probably. But hopefully when I get my upgrade to my Arbiter speed next week, if I can get a 6-star speed glyph to actually roll 8 before then, I should be able to outrun most of them. Because most of the time they're running them with this, like a Duchess lead. So they're only getting the 19%. So even if they are like a 380 Siffy, you could still potentially outrun them with a slower champion. I just wish what's his name? Is it not Prince Kaimar, what's it, Lord Chazar. I wish he had more use in Arena because I'd like to make use of that 32% speed aura, but at the moment he just doesn't really have a place. So I don't know if I've done it here, but I really should hit the Arsaga first because she's going to take. Oh yeah, I was thinking I was using the Shamal team there. So that just shows you the power of Ethos. Was able to kill everyone even with that damage mitigation. 115k against the Frozen Torment. I have actually increased the damage of my Ethos quite a bit this week. I've completely given up. I had a little bit of crit rate before, as you guys know. I usually have about 50%. Again, here we go. That's a Warlord and Siphi team. I don't like them, especially with the Torment, because I can't run my non-immunity team. So yeah, sorry, as I was saying, the Ethos, I ran him with like 50% crit rate before, as you guys might have seen, because that way I was getting the A3 off at a really high damage output, but I was still able to use the A2 quite a bit just to get some hits in, and the A1 if I need to. But I find since I use Kaimar so much with the reset, 2 of his A3s enough all the time, so I've just given up completely on crit rate. I think I'm running him at like 30% crit rate, and I've managed to get him. I think once I get this all glyphed up and I finally get a decent banner, because my banner at the moment is like a rare banner with one attack roll on it, which is pretty useless. So if I could get at least a double attack roll on an attack banner at some point, I could easily get this guy to over 7k, probably about 7.2k attack with 300 crit damage in Savage, which is pretty nuts. So that is the goal, and I'm not too far off it. I think at the moment I'm about 6.7, 6.8k with just under 300% crit damage. All this with decent speed as well. I think he's about 220 speed unglyphed. I can get him up to about 230, which is really what I want my nukers in Arena at. About 230 is ideal. Now, going for the Garptuk team here. Blind Seer, don't see a lot of her. She's quite annoying with the two Brachus actually, but there, I actually wasn't. For some reason, I was looking at Brachus and I wasn't really concentrating. I was thinking it's like what do you call her, Skull Crown, but I forget it's nothing like Skull Crown. He doesn't actually put a buff up. He just revives anyway. But we managed to get away with it there, so it's fine. 3 minutes to go. So we've had a fairly good run. We've just had that one bad battle, which was we actually lost and spent 2 minutes fighting it. That was a really poor one, so I would have done much better this week if I hadn't have pulled that one out the bag. Again, chosen a bad team to fight here last as well. But at least I've quit right away. That was the right thing to do. I seem to always get caught out with Cythalia teams. She's always so much faster than I expect her to be. And then once she starts doing her stuff, she decreases your turn meter, removes all your buffs, and then you're pretty screwed. So we've had 2 really bad losses in the last bit of plat this week, which is unfortunate. But one thing we have had is a lot of quick wins, so we've kind of counteracted it a little bit. Smash Lord team here. Quite interesting comp. Obviously has Swift Parry. Two minutes to go. So one thing I have actually been experimenting with Vogoth after, but I keep using Inquisitor because he's really easy to kill with Inquisitor teams. But because I have my Ethos at such high damage just now, I should probably just start AoEing it, because if you can kill them in one shot anyway, and he doesn't proc Swift Parry, then they just get one-shotted anyway. But the big if there is if they proc Swift Parry, because if he does and stuff heals, then it's a bit of a nightmare. Right, 1 minute to go. Ideally, could get two fights in here, but it's looking unlikely with the team I've decided to choose there. No, I didn't go against that one. Taking a bit too long. Problem is, when you've got like a minute or two to go, unless you're like totally cold, you go into a little bit of panic mode and then you can't really do it too quick. I've chosen a Sand/Slash Survivor team, which is never a fast team to farm either. Unless you can just totally blow them out in the one shot, which I think I probably do. Yeah, obviously Swift Parry hits, but potentially would have been even quicker there, but 11 seconds, pretty damn good. Gives me time for one more fight, which is pretty good. Again, 376, I probably should have just, rather than looking at my team there, just gone straight in. Because I think I can beat this team, provided there's no Swift Parry procs. He's got an insanely high power Duchess, so unfortunately I wasn't able to. When I mean high power, I say high resistance. So that's what screwed me up there. But reset, go around. I think I'm a little bit late here. So I don't think that one actually went through, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, lots of quick wins, some really stupid losses. Especially that 2 minute loss, that was the worst one. You shouldn't ever really do that. But we placed, what did we get? 86 this week. So again, I think I should have really been down about 30 odd like I did the other week. So that's kind of where I want to be. I want to be sort of top 40, top 50, because I think that's, if I play reasonably well, that's where my team should be able to get me. When I say team, I mean teams. But my defense is definitely doing pretty well. I'm quite happy with that. So I think if I was right in thinking, yep, here we go. I'm going to check my defense log here. So there's the battle log. As you can see, quite a few wins here at the end. I actually got 3 wins off the same guy there. 4 wins, 5 wins. Oh my, actually, that might be why I did so well, because some guy called Agon1X, 1, 2, 3 wins off him, 4 wins off him, 5 wins. I think he's getting triggered. So thanks, buddy. You really boosted my score this week. Made up for my terrible offense. But I'm still getting a lot of other wins, as you can see. I haven't actually bothered counting there, but I was attacked quite a bit more this week, but definitely got a reasonable amount of wins in there, not just against the one guy either. So yeah, it's performing really well, this team. That guy attacked me with a 3-man team there, not entirely sure why. So yeah, really happy with the defense. I'm not going to go, again, I know I said I would, but I'm not going to go totally into my defense again this week, because I'm still fine-tuning it, and I think I'm not far off getting it perfected once I get a few more glyphs and a couple more pieces. So I will go through it, but really the main thing I'm using is Force Champions. I'm using a Mountain King and a Candraphon, and those two together are just really good offensive capabilities against stuff like Trunda, and Trunda is a nightmare, so it forces them to pull in someone like an Ethos, really. And I know I'm using Ethos and he's very good, but he's definitely not as good as Trunda. So what I'm trying to do basically is get rid of Trunda altogether, and hopefully stop those kind of teams attacking me, because they see the 2 Force champions. I'm not going to go through the gear I've got on them, but yeah, that is the team I'm running, with another couple of champions in there. So that is it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the Platinum push this week. Stay tuned. Hopefully next week we do really well, because I've got a fully maxed out and booked Inquisitor that I haven't been using properly. I've been using an unbooked one, which is really stupid. And also I've got a speed upgrade to my Arbiter for, finally, it's taken like 5 months to finally get a speed upgrade. So that's providing I do get a speed glyph this week, but I haven't had one in a while, so surely I'm due one. But yeah, so hopefully we can get that. So yeah, that was the video. As usual, do all the YouTube stuff. Please like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button for notifications, and have a great day, guys. Peace.